The City of Jackson's Visitors and Conventions Commission reminds us to shop locally. From our wide selection of national retail chains to our unique downtown shops, Jackson is a great place to spend the day. Catch an exhibit or grab some lunch or dinner from one of our national restaurant chains or local eateries. Spend the night in one of our national chain hotels. No matter what your plans, the City of Jackson and Jackson County in the rolling hills of Southern Ohio is a great way to spend the day. Just a friendly reminder from the City of Jackson Visitors and Conventions Commission.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Happy Monday, everyone. It is December.
We're here.
Can you believe it?
The end of the year. I know, it's incredible. It seems like to me we just rang in 2023 and we're about ready to ring it out.
That's right. The big jolly man himself will be delivering those presents 3 weeks from today. Can you believe it?
I know. Well, we know he's coming because he was all over the place on Saturday.
Yes, he was. And we're going to tell you and show you all about it. I'll bet, right, Pete Wilson?
Right. Yeah, we have a lot of Christmas coverage. You had something going on about almost everywhere in our local communities. So we'll cover that. Jeremiah Shaver, of course, had a big hand in that. He'll be along a little bit later to talk about what he covered. I will talk about what I covered and also Red Thompson Jr. covered and also mention what Alex Shope covered. So, I mean, Saturday was not an off day for the news department.
No, it was not.
But, you know, fun stuff, you know, a lot of good people making those events happen. You must never forget that. And, of course, a lot of happy people, particularly children, at these events because, you know, it centers around Christmas, the anticipation of Christmas and Santa Claus. And,
there you go.
And I know you've been working hard at your new Sixth Sense, but I tell you what, Santa Claus might have even worked harder than you on Saturday. If you can believe that.
I know. I'd say you're probably right. We could definitely give him that.
Yeah. If you would have stayed open past 11, he probably would have come by for a burger.
Yeah. Never thought about that. Or I could have just taken him one down to the park or through the parade route or whatever.
That would have been so kind of you. Well, we're going to start off with some regular news.
Okay.
And then we'll swing into Christmas. All right. Okay. This story we had in our Saturday paper, one of our lead stories, the Jackson Memorial Building.
Yes.
Of course, it was built in 1936. I believe it was a WPA project during the Roosevelt administration, you know, when they did a lot of public works projects. And there it is. That is still the home to the main administrative offices of the city of Jackson.
Yep.
They did a study because they're hoping to get a grant to make the memorial building basically a rebirth.
Isn't it beautiful, though?
It still looks the same.
Yep.
But only about 15% of the building is actually in use right now. There's a lot of empty places in there because of different problems with the building.
Yep.
But there is a grant program that is getting a lot of attention from local governments. It's called the Appalachian Communities Grant Program.
Yep.
You're talking about $500 million. That is a bunch of money coming from the state that's going to be divided among 32 Appalachian counties. There is a lot of money available. Of course, everybody is angling for it.
Yep.
Jackson has several projects that they are proposing, the city of Jackson Mayor Randy Evans, but maybe the one that's receiving the most attention that they're most hopeful for is a $4.7 million request to basically redo the memorial building. We're
Yep.
not talking about building a new building. We're not talking about tearing it down in a rebuild, but we're talking about a major, they're calling it a rehabilitation.
Yes.
But you're talking about, redoing everything inside that building. Randy Evans, of course, as local people know, is a very successful construction
Yes,
contractor.
yes.
So, when he says things are wrong with a building, he doesn't have to have
He
a
knows.
consultant to know that.
Yeah.
But I met with him last night. This was after a council meeting earlier in the week where council passed some legislation to kind of set the table for this. But he went in depth with me, and then, we came up with an article after that about the situation with the memorial building. But that application, the first level of application is coming up very soon. It's kind of like a hurdle that you have to jump to
Yes.
get to actual funding, which Randy understands may be as soon as January. But on December the 8th, they'll know whether the application is accepted for possible funding. So it's
Gotcha.
got to get by that. And that is December the 8th. That is what
Wow. So that's this week.
Yes, that is his understanding. So,
Cool.
but this $4.7 million grant would basically redo the memorial building, fix all the problems. One of them is handicapped accessibility.
is.
If you're going to the building now, you've got to go up the steps somewhere.
Big steps.
Right in
A
front.
lot of steps.
Right in front. And once you're in the building, there's no elevator.
Mm-hmm.
You got to use the stairs. There's one office that's used in the basement level. And basically the main floor or the second floor is where some administrative offices are, the mayor, the service director, some of the administrative staff. The upstairs is not used at all. Of course, on the back is the auditorium / gymnasium.
Yep.
That used to be used a lot in the day. That was where a lot of the youth basketball and other activities occurred.
I played some Little League basketball games there.
I've been there too. And there's still things going on in there, but it's not used as much as it used to be. Mainly because you got the YMCA, you've got all these new schools that have gymnasiums, and it's just not used as much. Plus, there's lots of problems with the inner workings of the building. The HVAC.
Yes.
There's deterioration on the masonry outside. Not so evident looking from the front, but if you're in the back looking, you can see where the masonry is starting to come apart a little bit.
Gotcha.
So, Randy says if they get this $4.7 million grant, that should pay for everything. To me, I know everything's a lot more expensive, but it just blows my mind that that's not even a rebuild. That is a rehab.
Yes.
$4.7 million, but it'll cover it. There shouldn't be a lot of local money involved if they get it. Now, we have to couch this excitement by saying nothing has happened yet because they haven't got the grant. They may or may not get the grant. Everybody is asking for a lot of money.
Yes,
because,
they are.
The potential is out there, and the governor through the federal funding just doesn't hand out $500 million every day.
No.
They've been working on this. The city has for at least 18 months. There's been a lot of confusion about how this grant program works, what they're looking for, how to get funding, the way to go. The city has had consultants help them. The state actually paid for that. Burgess and Nyepel did a detailed study on the memorial building to verify the problems and suggest how it might be used. In addition to what is there now, other city offices could move in there because there's plenty of room. So therefore, you got consolidation, coordination, better communication, better efficiency.
Yep.
You're maybe not in another building that you're renting or having to maintain. But they're also talking about doing things to help the community. For instance, this isn't necessarily going to happen, but if they get the money, for instance, they could have the Chamber of Commerce have some space in there. Right now, the Chamber is very active, but they basically operate virtually through the office commons. They have someone answer the phone for them right there. They do not have an office or a physical place. Jackson County Economic Development Partnership does have an office, but they rent space. The city could give them space if they wanted to, if they thought that was in the community interest. They also talked about having a Wi-Fi lounge that the public could use there. We take it for granted if we're in town or we have good Wi-Fi service. Many people don't have it or it's not good.
You're exactly right.
And this would be, the library has been very good about having Wi-Fi hotspots, making them available. having a Wi-Fi facilities in the library that people use. Well, this would be another place that you could go to do Wi-Fi. They could have a meeting place in there that the community could use. They're not looking to make money off of it. They're looking to serve. They're looking to serve the community. So all these things are things that they hope that the state, the High Department of Development, whoever makes these grant decisions will think that's a good thing for our community.
Yes.
So we will see what happens there. Now, Randy Evans also made it clear to me in this interview that if they don't get this money, they're going to have to look for other money or go some other route, maybe use some city money on down the line, city income tax money or whatever, to do something with the memorial building, because he says if this is plan A, if there's not plan A, they got to go to plan B or plan C. He doesn't know what that is, but he says the building is not going to continue to exist for a long time in the state that it is.
Correct.
So something is going to have to be done. Obviously, I hope that this grant from the state, all outside money, will give us a new memorial building. A lot of history at the memorial building, Jennifer. I go back longer than you do. I remember when the police department was in there. I remember when the library was in there.
I don't remember the library, but I remember
the American Legion
other
was
stuff.
very active at one time.
So,
they were upstairs.
I was in the Legionnettes, which was a little baton group.
Okay.
And we practiced upstairs.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was really cool because there's like a big, like almost like a ballroom up there.
Right.
And that's where we practiced.
Okay. Well, it's definitely, a community icon. Different administrations along the way have talked about what to do with the memorial building. The problem, of course, is the money part.
Yes.
This is even pre-city income tax,
Sure.
so you don't have a lot of revenue to talk about. But they talked about knocking down the memorial building before, building something new there or building something somewhere else. But when they floated this out in the community, there was a lot of community sentiment to save the building and fix it up.
It's a cool building. I mean,
the location is great too.
Yeah, it is.
So, right there on the main drag of Broadway, on the edge of the downtown area.
Are they proposing, I'm just curious, to keep the gymnasium part of it or turn that into something else?
Well, I'm not sure about the
know?
detailed plans on that, but in another conversation that I had with Randy, other than the detailed interview I had last week, he mentioned that the auditorium, that's a lot of space, is not used as much as it used to.
Right.
And that kind of indicated to me that he's thinking there's better use for that space there.
Sure.
But if they do use that space for some kind of recreation or a big meeting area or for events, it's going to be much better than what it is now.
Okay, cool.
All right. Okay. Of course, a big thing last week that really hit social media was the Krampus dispute.
Krampus Gate.
Right.
2023.
Right. That's a good name for it. We didn't talk about it on Friday. We were gathering information, but we did have an article.
My goodness.
I give Jeremiah Shaver credit for running down the information, trying to touch all the bases. That is Krampus that Dylan has put up. And I will say, if I didn't know any better, that's the devil in a Santa Claus suit. That's what it looks like to me. Of course, there is no Krampus really, as far as I know. If there is, I may be haunted tonight. But that's a mythological figure out of the 15th century. I think it got a lot more, a much higher profile because of a 2015 movie.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess in Europe, there even a tradition with Santa Claus and Krampus. Krampus being the bad Santa Claus, and he visits you if you've been naughty.
Yes.
And actually will hurt you. But anyway, the skinny on this, Jennifer, is that the Jackson City Library was going to have a photo op event where you could have your picture with Krampus. It's after hours. It's your choice on whether to go or not.
Right.
And, you could have your picture taken with Krampus. Just another program that the library does, a community outreach thing.
And I just wanted to say this. There's Krampus festivals all over the place.
I know that now. I didn't even know what Krampus was until last week.
Well, now we do.
Now we do.
But yeah, I know. I have a friend that participates in one up in Columbus, they have like thousands of people that go to this thing. I know Athens has a Krampus parade, and it's just, it's a thing.
Right. Well,
so anyway, I'm just trying to kind of set the
right. This isn't just a Jackson thing.
No.
It just became an issue in Jackson. And
Only in Jackson.
after the library posted about this photo op, which would have been tomorrow evening, there was an immediate backlash from people who thought this wasn't a good thing for the library to be sponsoring because, Krampus is a evil, demonic figure, and why would we do something like this in Jackson, and why would the library do it? There was a lot of outrage. I don't think that's too strong of a word.
That's to put it mildly.
Okay,
Pete.
as a result of that, the next day, Jackson Library Director Roger Donaldson posted an explanation, a statement. That's when we decided we really needed to cover it because, there had been a public event, there was a public event canceled, and he went public with an explanation. The bottom line is, he tried to explain, why they're doing it. They try to offer a lot of programming to the community. They don't take a side on this or that, but they want to offer a lot of programming to the community. It's up to you whether to come. It's after library hours, remember. Right. And basically, he canceled it. There was a paragraph in his statement where he said, the health and safety of the patrons and the employees is the most important. He did not want it to devolve into a big controversy with something maybe happening at the event between opponents and proponents. Because
only in Jackson.
Right. On the other side, especially after it was canceled, there was a backlash the other way. Mm-hmm. People were indignant, probably more people indignant that they canceled the thing, supporting the library in general, maybe not feeling one way or the other about Krampus, but feeling like the library, should be able to do what it does, and you shouldn't shut it off from other people who think that it's harmless or
that it's fun
or want to be involved or whatever.
It was just a thing.
Yeah. Right. And I forget what it was. Jeremiah Shaver in his news story touched on the opponents, touched on, the response to the opponents. And of course, there was a social media firestorm. I mean, you're talking about shares, comments, and
I've never
some outside Jackson as well.
I have never seen something like that before.
Well, it was a thing. It was a thing. It was
definitely
no
a
doubt
thing.
about it. And so, I asked Jeremiah to write a story about it. He wondered if we should. My first impulse was no at the beginning, but then as it grew, it was something hard to avoid, even though it may not be hard news or whatever. It's still a main topic in the community.
I mean, yeah, that's to put it mildly.
So anyway, what we tried to do was write an objective story, on what happened. One of the things that happened, in addition to all the social media comments, this side or that side, both sides, was that there are now a couple of Krampus events, kind of like a response saying, okay,
exactly.
The library had to cancel
Stick
theirs,
it in your ear.
so
we're going to do it
this.
anyway. Yeah.
We're talking about one event on the 16th that has been proposed. I presume it will happen on the 16th, a Krampus parade in Jackson. Then the next day, on Sunday, the 17th, a Krampus photo shoot out at
Lake Catherine
State Nature Preserve. And there is a Facebook group that has been formed because of this Krampus. In response to the Krampus cancellation and in support of the library and in support of not having something censored or canceled because somebody doesn't like it.
So this is, I don't know. I think we're going to end up being the Krampus capital of the world if they keep it up, it's just become this ginormous thing.
Well, I thought a Krampus may show up in the Jackson Christmas parade, but I guess not. But,
that would have been classic.
But it is not over yet. But if you're not on Facebook or you're not on social media, we do have kind of like a overall story on it to tell you what happened there. We think objectively. That is posted online on the telegramnews.com, our website, with a link to Facebook. And of course, it was a front page. We had the Memorial Building on one side and Krampus on the other. I know what got more attention.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
We could go on for days about it, but we're not gonna.
Right. Another thing I want to touch on. This is, a lot of federal money has flowed from Washington since COVID. Much more than in the past, whether you agree with that or not. But local governments have benefited from having, a chance to get more grants and funding and whatever. And in Wellston, they have just wrapped up, or in the very last stages of wrapping up, a major infrastructure project, that I think the city administration can be very proud of.
Yes.
That is new water and sewer lines on two of their main streets, West Broadway Street and also New York Avenue. Both are main thoroughfares in Wellston. A lot of residences on those streets. One of them is part of a state route, State Route 327. But they put in new water lines, new sanitary sewer lines, some storm sewer. They fixed some problems that the EPA had problems with them, where some sanitary sewer was coming into the storm sewer. That's not good because it can get into a creek or whatever.
Right.
And then it's not good also if the storm sewer gets into the sanitary sewer, because it makes the sewer plant work harder.
Correct.
You treat water.
It's
you
just
treat water instead of sewage.
Right.
So Wellston had to, like a lot of communities, had aging system or whatever. And this is only 2 streets in town, but there are 2 big streets in town.
Yeah.
And just this last part where they worked, Anthony Brenner, the mayor of Wellston, talked about at the last council meeting, $4.5 million just to finish it this year. But the big thing about it is, I think all the digging is pretty much over, I think. But what they're doing now is they're finished the paving, because this was very inconvenient to the public. It's a good thing, but you're digging along the street, you're digging in yards.
Yes.
And, the streets are tore up. There's dust. You may have to move your car, get it out of the way. Maybe in the park where you used to. And frankly, there were people that complained. Both the mayor and Ryan Pelletier, who is the code enforcement officer, and the fire chief responded, to some of those complaints. They understand, the frustration, and they understand, the inconvenience, but they are touting what the city has now, which is honestly the most important things. They finished the paving on Broadway. They are in the last stages. It wasn't done, but it was almost done at the end of last week on New York. And so those streets now are smooth, beautiful. They may have to line them or whatever. There may be some residual work that's still being done, but they're going to have 2 newly paved streets, and you can't see it. Maybe you don't appreciate it, but underground you have a brand new water and sewer system. That will serve Wellston well and residents who live along those streets for many years to come.
Yes.
So that's worth mentioning. We're going to have that story out in the paper this week. All right, we will turn to Christmas now, and we will start by talking about Christmas in Oak Hill. That's where I was on Saturday night.
Okay.
They have a series of events called Christmas in the Village. And they have 3 organizations, 3 wonderful community organizations that come around to make that happen. The Oak Hill Festival of Flags, the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce, and the Oak Hill Historical Society.
Okay.
Now, none of those organizations, if you listen to their name, have anything to do with Christmas. They have a lot that they have to do on their own to promote history, to put on the festival, to promote business in the community in general. But they're good community organizations. They civic service, and so they come together. And of course, it's all volunteer people, and they put on this Christmas in the Village event. It started with a parade in the early evening, and they started out by the old high school. That is the Oak Hill High School Band. As you can see, they are dressed for the event.
Love that.
Had their Santa Claus hats on, and somehow they all had to come up with Christmas sweaters. I didn't see a one that did not have a Christmas sweater.
That's cool.
I had an old one that I wore in high school, and I got laughed at every time I went to high school on that, but I still wore it. Mrs. Claus and Mr. Claus hitched a ride on the fire truck in the parade, and they were working very hard once they got to the park, because it started at the old high school lot there on Western Avenue, wound through town, and ended up right there at Central Memorial Park. Beautiful park in Oak Hill. You can see the gazebo in the background, and you can see this is in daylight before they turned on the lights, but you can see how they ringed the sidewalk there with these decorated Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Brian Moore, who was the MC, and he's the Oak Hill Historical Society leader, he told me that there were 33 decorated lit Christmas trees. You can see that Santa Claus met with all the kids, including the older kids.
Love that.
At the gazebo there. I was there for part of it, and that line was still there when I left. And so very popular.
Aw.
That young lady right there is only 5 months old. She's the youngest one that I saw. That is Desi Hatfield, 5 months old.
Aw.
And there were some kids older who were intimidated by Santa and Mrs. Claus. Desi was not.
She's digging
Just
it.
took a good look there. I'm not exactly sure if Dizzy was specifically able to make an order for Christmas, but she definitely made an impression. So that is my favorite picture from that event. That is Grant Lambert, and what he's doing there. He is, I think, in high school now, but he's an Oak Hill resident. He is the one who 9 years ago made it known that there ought to be a community Christmas tree in Oak Hill, because there wasn't one apparently then. They talked about having one maybe at the city building. Well, it morphed into this much bigger event at Central Memorial Park. So every year they have Grant, used to be in elementary school, now in high school. He comes and pulls the switch to turn on the lights, and that is what he's doing right there.
That is cool.
Right. So that is Grant Lambert. And over at the Oak Hill Madison Jefferson Firefighters Bingo Hall, they have one of the great charity Christmas events in all of Jackson County. That is Chris Walls, former Madison Jefferson Fire Chief, still with the fire department, does so much with the Firefighters Association. He's also a Madison Township trustee and with the Fair Board. And we know Chris very well. Chris was there and had his picture taken with just a portion of the merchandise that they sold at the annual Christmas auction. The Firefighters Association works very hard to buy, actually, they look for deals, of course, but they buy new merchandise. They buy tools, toys, home decor, knickknacks, and they have one huge auction on Saturday night. It's in conjunction with, all the stuff going on in the village, the Christmas in the Village event. And I haven't got a figure on how much they sold, but they had $6,000 worth of merchandise. And they make money off. They end up making money off of it. And when I say making money, they don't even necessarily, as far as I know, put it into a fire truck. They put it right back into community needs. One of the things they do is donate money to the food pantry. I think that in the past they purchased hams so that when they pass out food at Christmas, the food pantry, they can actually hand out a ham, which is a big ticket item.
That's huge.
So, and they're more expensive than they used to be.
Yes, they are.
So kudos to the Madison Jefferson Firefighters Association. Hey, we've got to give a shout out to Seth Michael. Ed Henderson, one of the auctioneers who always donated his time every year to this Christmas auction, was under the weather, unable to do his thing. And Seth Michael, on short notice, was willing to step in and do it.
That's awesome.
I mean, some of the auctioneers that we have in this county, that gets overlooked, but they give a lot of their time. Patrick Ball, Seth Michael, Ed Henderson, Tom Elliott. They do a great job.
Yes, they do.
So that was all in Oak Hill on Saturday evening. You can see all the decorated trees. I think they're going to be pretty much lit up until New Year's Day.
Love
and that is in Central Memorial Park. All right, we're going to go north all the way on the other end of 93 in our coverage area to MacArthur. They had the Christmas in Downtown event, and Red Thompson Jr. threw a bunch of pictures at me last night. So Dylan, if you can cue it up, you can just throw them up there and I'll respond to them as you put them up there. They had a lot of business vendors. It's a business event kind of downtown to bring attention to the downtown. That's part of the Christmas in Downtown event. On the right, that is Carol Dodrell.
Yep.
Very well-known businesswoman in MacArthur, has a real estate agency, Dodrell Realty. We consider her a friend of Total Media.
Yep.
She was one of the businesses and offices that was open, for business and to probably do some giveaways. But that's Carol Dodrell there, and somebody dressed up like an elf. This is a group of church singers from the Outreach North Church. Now, you talk about having the right atmosphere for a downtown Christmas event. Pretty good-sized group from that church did Christmas carols while the Christmas in Downtown was going on. It was late afternoon into the early evening event. After the afternoon hours, they did a parade with Santa Claus. And they also had visits with Santa Claus at the courthouse after the parade. There is Santa Claus, proof positive that he was there. He's on the back of a MacArthur Fire Department truck.
How did he get everywhere?
I don't know. I told you on Friday that they had the schedule set up so he could do it. Now, it was a real quick trip from MacArthur to Oak Hill. I will tell you that.
Yes.
It was fast, but you know, those sleighs.
Yeah, they get you
We're
there.
not talking about regular cars anymore. There is a float of the representing the Vinton County Fair and the FFA. To bring attention to that, you can see a pig on board there. Not a real one, but a pig to kind of like symbolize agriculture in the fair. And the FFA real big at Vinton County High School. And at the fairgrounds, for the second straight year, don't have a picture to show you, but we will later on soon. We'll get a picture. But the Vinton County Junior Fair Board, for the second year in a row, is doing a lighted tree display at the fairgrounds. So you can drive around the fairgrounds for free and see about 33 decorated trees there.
Awesome.
They were first lit on Saturday night, and I talked to Audrey Robson, and she said they'll be lit through the end of the month.
Cool.
And here is an elf with, let's see, I'll give you a name here. That would be Lydia Leniger, who was one of the she was a craft person, had craft items for sale there. There was
Cool.
people selling business wares, merchandise, and there was people selling crafts, and there was people selling food, sugar cookies and like that. And so the elf wanted a craft. So there were many scenes like this, people out on the street. And, you know, fortunately, Jennifer, overall, there was a little bit of rain. It wasn't enough to ruin anything in our local towns. But the temperatures were seasonably high.
Yes.
I think it got up to 60 degrees at one time on Saturday. So it was not too cold to be out, you know, late afternoon and into Saturday evening for our local celebrations. And here is some young ladies selling sugar cookies.
Sugar Cookie Sisters.
They're Sugar
Oh, I
Cookie
love that.
Sisters. They got a Facebook page and everything. And talk about the right time to be selling sugar cookies.
Yeah.
Right before Christmas. And my guess is they're very good. I'll name those two ladies for you. They are Katie Dameron and Gabby Luckbaum. So they were out along with a lot of other vendors for the Christmas in downtown event in MacArthur.
I love sugar cookies.
And here is the folks, the young ladies from the Vinton County National Bank. The bank had its doors open, and I'm sure they did some giveaways, greeting the public, one of the main businesses in MacArthur. Those young ladies from the left are Rayleigh Eckerd, Heather Scarberry, and Brianna Jenkins. So we thank Red for being intrepid, getting many photos for us to hopefully publish.
Yeah.
In our next paper, Jennifer, obviously we're going to have an ample supply of Christmas photos.
I'd say
We
so.
want to show you that we were out working, but we should be out working because I tell you what. I'm not going to down or compare us to any other communities, but I tell you what, our local communities in Jackson and Vinton counties do Christmas right.
Heck yeah.
It is not ignored. And there is the Vance Man of Total
Hey.
Media. Of course, been in radio for a long time, and he is taking a much more active role doing a lot of events at remotes
Yes.
for Total Media and our radio stations. WYRO was in the person of the Vance Man, Brian Vance, at the event in Vinton County. I know that J.J. Hell and Rodney Porterhouse Tomlin, were at the event in Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we may be able to show you a picture of them at work later on. It was a long day, but a good day.
Yep.
And here you have the Grinch and Santa Claus all together. And I believe that this is a picture of the Southern Ohio Adventures Recreation folks. They were the grand marshals of the
cool.
Christmas parade. And they had Santa Claus there. They had the Grinch there. They not only were the grand marshals in the parade, but they got to light the community Christmas tree, which is at the courthouse.
Very
So
cool.
congratulations to them. And here's a young man with a Christmas craft. That he wanted to have his picture taken, and Red obliged him. That would be, that young man would be Olin Ward, young Olin Ward.
Very cute.
He got in more than one picture, so he wasn't shy about getting his picture taken. And here is a group that included one of the royalties of the Vinton County Junior Fair. Let's see here. This would be
I know it's I know it's titled West Banco.
Oh, this is the folks at West Banco. And Olin Ward, that's Olin Ward
Again.
in that picture. And from the left are Vinton County Junior Fair 6th grade attendant Haley Shipman, West Banco office manager Amelia Ward, and personal banker Miranda Eggers. All right.
Very cool.
Okay, very good. We will move on. Alex Shope was at the Wellston Lions Club Christmas Parade.
Yes.
Now, you know, they had all the Christmas treats on Wellston streets the previous Saturday, but keeping with tradition, the Lions Club Christmas Parade, first Saturday in December, was held Saturday afternoon. Alex was on assignment this morning, wasn't able to give me any pictures, but I guarantee it happened. All right, and we will have photos from that too. And speaking of the Wellston Lions Club Santa Float, which of course is an iconic institution in Wellston, it's going to be making the rounds all over the area starting tonight, weather permitting, always weather permitting, but the Santa Float will be in Wellston tonight starting at 5:30. They have not announced the route or the destination, but they have a Facebook page. You can check that out. When they figure out where they're going and if they're going, you can keep up with them, but they will be, I'm pretty sure they'll be very thoroughly in Wellston in the next couple of weeks. They're going to make a trip to Jackson, I believe, next weekend. And then the following Monday, they're going to be in Hamden one night and in Coalton one night, I'm sure. All right, a couple of sports things to tell you about real quick. There was some major events to talk about on the sporting side. It was a busy weekend for the sports too. At Vinton County High School, the 2023 inductees to the Vinton County High School Athletic Hall of Fame were inducted.
Gotcha.
And Red Thompson Jr. hustled over there the same time he was doing all this Christmas stuff. But from the left, that is Tristan Bartow, a great Vinton County basketball player, Kayla Jewett-Merker, who was an outstanding three-sports female star in the early 2000s. Then you have Jack O'Rourke and assistant coach Matt Queen, who were associated with one of the best, some people may say the best, Vinton County High School football team of all time,
Cool.
the 1993 team that went undefeated and then won the first round of the playoffs. That's when fewer teams got in the playoffs, and they almost beat the mighty Ironton Tigers
Oh my
in their
goodness.
second round. And if the 1993 team isn't the best, this last team that TJ Carper has, they would be right up there as well. So I'm not trying to shortchange them, but if you're as good as the 1993 team, that is something. I remember, I'm old enough, I remember the Ironmen played against them and really got mauled that year. That's how good Vinton County was that year.
Very cool.
And Jack O'Rourke was the coach, and Matt Queen, who later was the head coach, was the assistant coach that year. Okay, we will have photos to show you later. We don't have them today, but it was a great weekend for the Jackson basketball teams. They were playing in the famous gym in Knightstown, Indiana, of Hoosiers fame.
Yes.
The 1986 movie that Gene Hackman was the star in.
Yes.
And it was a great sports story anyway, and it's much better known because of that movie.
Sure.
And it happened all the way back in 1954, but in this little small high school court, a team from Milan, Indiana, won the state championship again. And this is when it wasn't divided, by size of schools. And it was like one of the tiniest schools in the state beat one of the biggest schools in the state. Great story and a great movie. And so people in that town basically rent the gym to other high school teams that come and they can say that they played there. That happened with the Jackson girls basketball team and the Jackson boys basketball team. They played Portsmouth West there Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
Girls first and then the boys. Two very good games. Our girls beat Portsmouth West 59-45. Our boys, in a heartbreaker, lost 72-70. But I know it was a great experience. Court much smaller than the regulation court, but just the experience of going there is something that they will never forget.
Right.
I know the coaches are very thankful that the school administration supported it, the support groups supported it. If they don't raise this money on the side to do things like this, it's going to be impossible to do. But we're going to have coverage subsequently in our paper of the Hall of Fame in Vinton County and of the trip to the famous basketball court where Hickory High School from Milan, Indiana, did what they did.
Yeah.
I think it's really Milan High School, but for some reason in the movie they called it Hickory.
Hickory. Okay.
Right. Okay. All right. Some other Christmas events coming up. We're going to go over some things really quickly because Jeremiah Shaver will be in here presently to talk about what he covered over the weekend. The 12 days of Christmas will continue in Jackson all the way through a week from tomorrow, Tuesday, December 12th. Hence, the 12 days of Christmas actually started on Friday evening. Of course, there's the ice skating rink right there on Portsmouth Street. I had a little bit of trouble. Wasn't able to open on Friday, but I do understand it opened on Saturday, and it will be open. The last day is today.
Yes.
It will be open from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. For $5, you can skate for 30 minutes.
Yep.
All right. Other events coming up later on in the week. The Mayu Brown Funeral Home will be having its Christmas Cheer from Yesteryear event. Very popular. They have
Yes, it is.
They have the horse and carriage rides, a live nativity scene, performances by Jackson choirs from the schools. At least the high school choir. Maybe in the past it's been multiple choirs, so I'm not sure about that part. But that'll be coming up. But you can check our story that's on our website that was in our paper previously about all the events with the 12 days of Christmas. There's something happening at least every day.
Yes. Very cool.
All right. And we talked about the Mayu Brown Funeral Home Christmas Cheer from Yesteryear event. Going on right now is the Festival of Trees at the Herbert Westcote Memorial Library in MacArthur.
Okay.
They do a lot of programming too
Yes.
throughout the year. And right now they have a bunch of decorated Christmas trees that are on display in the community room. They're going to have a silent auction on December the 16th. That is a week from this Saturday. And so you'll have a chance through silent bid to buy those Christmas trees that other people decorated. I'm sure they're beautiful. And that will raise money for the library or the charity of their choice. Not sure how they're going to use the money, but I'm sure it will be for a good cause. It will
Very cool.
raise money for charity. So that's the Festival of Trees. Also, the Santa House in Manpower Park will be open the rest of on a certain schedule for the rest of the Christmas season. Of course, it debuted there on Saturday night after all the activities in Jackson. Jeremiah's going to tell you about in a little bit. But in short, the Santa House is going to be open there. It's in the back of Manpower Park from 5 to 7 p.m. It will be open on Friday and Saturday, this Friday and Saturday, also on Sunday, and then the following Friday, Saturday, and then Saturday, December 23rd will be the final. It'll be from 5 to 7 p.m. and then Santa will be coming to Jackson on the Wellston Santa Claus float, of course, on the 17th of December and the 18th of December. So check the schedule on that. Don't forget that the Jackson Women's Club candy shops are open both in Jackson and Wellston.
Yes, they are.
It's open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day but Sunday. And the Jackson location is 269 Bridge Street. The Wellston location is 1024 South Pennsylvania Avenue in Wellston. The Jackson firefighters will have a Breakfast with Santa event this Saturday. It will be at the fire station at 152 Pearl Street. Pancakes, sausage, juice, and milk will be provided free of charge. Can you beat that? Small toys will be handed out to children by the Jackson County Gear Grinders. Food and gifts will be available while supplies last. So it's 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. You might want to come on the early side. And the Firefighters Association has some local community sponsors that have made that happen. VFW Auxiliary Post in MacArthur will be having a Breakfast with Santa event also on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's at the Veterans Memorial Drive in MacArthur. The public is welcome. Santa Claus will be coming to Zaleski. Going to be busy next Saturday too, Jennifer.
Okay.
There's going to be a parade starting at 5:45 p.m. Santa will be at the fire station at approximately 6 p.m. He'll have gifts for children under the age of 12. Santa's elves will have hot chocolate cookies and candy. That is in Zaleski
Sounds good to me.
This coming Saturday evening. The Farm Bureau, the Jackson Vinton Farm Bureau, what a big event they have each year. It's called Breakfast with Santa. It's going to be on Saturday, December the 10th. Lots of Breakfast with Santa events.
That's right.
But it's going to be at the fairgrounds. It's a huge event. They get it sponsored with community sponsors. They do free pancakes, sausage, and milk. They have other things. They do it as a community service project. It has won awards as a community service project.
Has.
Crafts for kids, live animals, and much more for kids before they get to visit with Santa. The Wilkesville Presbyterian Church has one of the better Christmas programs you'll ever see. I know that because I've been told that. It's on Sunday, December 10th at 5 p.m. Lots of music. Constance White, one of our good friends in Wilkesville, helps put this together. But they'll have Advent candle readings, carol singing, special music by David Stifler Jr., Vicki Smith, Kyle White. They'll have a pianist, they'll have a celloist, and they'll have free refreshments. And the public is welcome. It's just not for the church members.
Okay.
That's 5 p.m. on Sunday. And not too far behind that, the D. Merrill Davis annual carol sing will take place at the high school auditorium or the middle school auditorium on the 13th. That's a week from this Wednesday. It's at 7 p.m. And that is a event steeped in
always a big
tradition
one.
in Jackson. The Lake Hope Christmas will have a free event. This sounds pretty special too. A week from Saturday, that'll be the 16th. It'll be from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. They have sponsors too, so it'll be free. They'll have free horse-drawn carriage wagon rides there in a beautiful place, Lake Hope. Plus, they'll have free hot chocolate and cookies, and of course, Santa will be there.
Woohoo!
All right, so
Man.
are you going to tell me there's no Christmas things going on?
All you have to do is step outside. You're going to find something to
Exactly. Okay, well, I'm going to give up my seat to Jeremiah because he was a busy boy on Saturday. He's going to tell you what he did. He has come up through air and he's ready to go.
do. Very good. And he has his Santa hat on. Thanks, Pete. Aren't you festive?
Festive today, Jim.
Isn't he cute? There we go.
Probably should talk into the mic.
Not your hat.
Yes, there's a microphone in here. So, Pete talked about the Krampus ordeal.
Yeah.
I like the note I saw as of this morning. The pictures of Krampus has been moved from the lake to Rowdy's Smokehouse.
Okay.
So just change in location there.
Okay.
So we'll have to make sure we get that out. Same time frame, same date.
Okay.
But it has been moved indoors. That way there's no chance of the weather affecting
Gotcha.
the event. So
Very cool.
just like to note that. No updates on the Krampus parade, but there's quite a few folks interested in it. I was just checking while I was waiting to come over.
Yeah.
But it's showing that Saturday, the 16th at 6 o'clock is what it's saying. But
Okay.
I don't know anything about a parade route or anything. So stay tuned, I guess. So over the weekend, Pete got into a lot of the Christmas activities that he was involved in and read and out. We were the total media team was out.
Man, you guys were everywhere.
And not just on the newspaper side, but even on the radio side,
Yep.
The guys were out. And we'll start with the first thing I covered on Saturday, and that was in the village of Coalton. Dylan's over here causing trouble back there behind the monitor.
Why's he got that weird grin?
He's got a twinkle in his eye.
I know. I'm like confused as to what he's gonna do here.
It'll be cool, trust me. Were you wanting to play the video right now?
Let's throw up the pictures first, Dylan.
Okay.
So we got a couple pictures from Coalton.
Okay.
So family members of Lena Humphreys gathered on the village green in Coalton to kick off the holidays by lighting up her memorial Christmas tree. This young man here, that is Lena's great-grandson, that's Gatlin Bakeys. He's pictured placing a new ornament on Lena's tree this year. And I was looking back. I actually have a photo of him. I don't know how old he is now, but I have a photo of him from several years ago. It was like the second year or third year.
Uh-huh.
And he was like 23 months old, placing an ornament on the tree.
Aw.
And now it looks like he's a couple years old, placed an ornament on the tree. So I
That's
thought that was
awesome.
kind of neat. We should have another picture there too, Dylan, of some of the family with. So here's some of the family with Santa and the tree there in the background.
Love it.
Pictured standing with Lena Humphreys' memorial Christmas tree are Santa and family members. You have Lisa Leach, Gatlin Bakeys, Connie Howard, Leah Bakeys, Mac Humphreys, and Faye Humphreys. That was some of the family that had showed up this year. And this year was a little more emotional as the family had laid Lena's son, Ron E. Humphreys, to rest several hours before the lighting.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so they had his funeral and buried him it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on
Oh
Saturday.
no.
And then they gathered for the tree in memory of Lena.
What a bittersweet day.
It was a bittersweet day. But the event that was held on Saturday, December 2nd, and it was to remember and honor the life of Lena, who passed away. She passed away in May of 1997, and Coalton Village Administrator Merle Morris had the honor of plugging in the tree this year. And that tree was planted there in 2015. It was like that summer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that December, they ended up lighting it up. That's when they had the first one.
Yeah.
Was of 15. And I can remember being there for that celebration, and I could reach the top of the tree.
Yeah.
And now
It's grown
look
a
how
little
big
bit.
the tree
Yes.
is now. I mean, it's like double the size what it was when it was originally planted. And prior to the lighting on Saturday, Coalton Utility Clerk Elizabeth Ann Cumston, on behalf of Coalton Mayor Kim Milliken, who couldn't be in attendance this year, she's out of town, had thanked everyone for coming and offered some comments about Leah and Ronald as well. Now, Ronald had passed away at the age of 86, and they had buried him just up the street there at the Green Lawn Memorial Gardens there in Coalton earlier in the day. But Lena, many who knew her, she was a much loved person in the village, and many recalled her having like a store that had like a teen hangout for kids in town that featured like pool tables, jukebox, pinball machine, and that kind of stuff. It was just a hangout for keep the kids out of trouble.
Yep.
And following the lighting, everyone went inside for cookies and got to visit with Santa. I believe we have the video clip of the tree lighting. Is it just the tree lighting, or did you have words too, or no?
No, just the tree lighting.
Okay, so here is the official lighting of Lynn Humphrey's Memorial Christmas Tree.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's so pretty.
So there it is. I feel like they've always done the white with the red on the tree there, and I heard Merle say it seems like every year it gets harder and harder to decorate because it gets so big.
Every year it's going to get bigger and bigger.
Keeps getting bigger and bigger there.
Yep.
So there's another tree also planted next to the village building in the front. It's kind of a companion tree to that tree.
Okay.
I know the one was planted in memory of her, and then the other one had been planted, but I can't remember the story on it.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the same year, but it's about the same size. So
very cool.
So that's a little bit about that. After that, I ventured quickly. Well, I had to swing by the house because I forgot something, but then I ventured quickly to the city so I could get a parking spot close to the park.
Yeah.
For the Jackson Holiday Light Up celebration.
Yes.
So that celebration, it's a team effort. You have the parade that's organized by the Jackson County Gear Grinders. You have the tree lighting that's brought to you by Cultivating Our Future.
Uh-huh.
And then to cap it all off, you got the Jackson Firefighters Association with their firework display. I think we have some pictures that we can throw up. So here's the firework display, one of the photos I got where you can see some of the families down inside Manpower Park watching the firework display. I picked this one because it's got the red and green coming out of it. Very holiday colored theme.
Love that. Yeah, I missed the fireworks. I was running around the restaurant and I was like, oh, it's time for fireworks. And they were like, no, you missed it.
You missed it.
I was like, oh, shoot.
So this was an artistic one I kind of took. You see the tree in the foreground. And in the background, there's kind of silhouettes of people and fireworks exploding in the background. Here's some folks following the fireworks, walking through to check out the different trees. I believe there's 85 in the park this year. Was the number I was told prior to the lighting. That's a ton. Here is Santa Claus and the Grinch making their way through the parade there.
And the Grinch.
And the Grinch was aboard. Wow. both making their way through downtown. This was right across the street from the park. You can see there was a
Yep.
big crowd. It felt like there's, the weather, it was in the low 50s, and the weather was just for this time of year.
Yeah.
I remember last year, the year before last, I about lost some toes because it was so cold.
Yeah.
I even dressed in layers this year. I had, I had my thermals underneath and my thermal socks and stuff, but I don't think I needed it.
Yeah.
And then we should have some video clips. If you want to show those, Dylan, should be do it in order: parade, tree, fireworks. So, I forgot about this one. Here is Total Media's JJ Hell and Rodney Porterhouse Tomlin there in the this is the mobile unit. They had it set up doing a live remote down there in the park.
Yeah.
Something new this year, Rodney told me they are going to be leaving the mobile unit in the park throughout the month of December.
Yep.
And it will be playing Christmas music 24/7.
Isn't that cool?
He said unless they get a complaint from a neighbor nearby, then they may put it on a timer.
Okay. We'll see.
But just to bring some
I love that.
some Christmas tunes to the park there while folks are walking
That's
through.
great.
That'll be great. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you have it. So this will be a 14-minute display of fireworks tonight, and the Jackson Firefighters Association are the ones credited with getting the funds for this. Dylan, what did you do?
I made a Jeremiah transition.
That is hilarious. Let's see it again.
Okay.
You need to make it festive. You need to get me with my hat on
I do need to do that.
for the holiday.
Oh my God. You're so weird.
Dylan apparently has too much time on his hands.
I knew he was cracking up because he cracks himself up.
He does.
So I'm like,
he was
into
up to something over
yeah.
there. I saw him. Yeah. Yeah, the twinkle
Good
in his
job,
eye there.
Dylan.
Good
Yeah,
job, Dylan.
there you go.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
how cool. I
So-
think that the Christmas fireworks are such a good thing that they do.
There was a lot of people following the display, doing shout outs on Facebook, saying that it was like no offense, but they felt like that show was better than the one in July.
Oh, really?
And the funny thing about it, it's the same company that does July and December, and they spend more money in July than they did this year in December. I think Dave said what, $9,000 show,
yeah, I forget what
and
he
I'm pretty
said,
sure
but-
they spent maybe 12 or 13,000, something like that, maybe in July. But people like the other show. I don't know if it's because it's shorter and more compact.
Well, or is it just the feeling you get because
Maybe.
it's Christmas time and the trees are all lit
Yes,
and
you got the hustle
it's-
and bustle and
yeah.
the merriment and it's just I know a lot of people just had a lot of good things to say about all the Christmas activities. And then you also had the ice skating ring out across from your
Mhm.
place. I've heard a mix of reviews on that. I know
Yeah.
they had some trouble
They
on
did have
Saturday.
some trouble.
Saturday
They got it going though.
getting it going and everything. But it's the first year for that. Maybe they'll have it back again next year. Maybe they'll do some research and maybe find some different folks that
Yeah.
do that. That maybe it's a little
That
better
install
or
it
something.
properly. Yes, that would be
Maybe.
great.
I know I'd seen some pictures on Facebook. I don't remember if it was Portsmouth or Chillicothe where somebody had gone, and it's supposed to be the same kind of deal.
Uh-huh.
But looking at the picture, I couldn't tell that it was pieces.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a different company that
Yeah,
does it
I don't know.
or what. But anyhow, something fun in downtown.
It is.
And I know Pete touched on all the stuff coming up this coming week.
Yeah,
Got a lot of
we
stuff.
have so
Another
much
big
stuff.
day is Thursday.
Yes, Thursday is
got
going
the
to be insane
Yeah,
downtown.
the downtown market here in Jackson, the Cookie Walk, which is, I believe, sold out. I saw tickets for that are now sold out.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I saw that. So you missed out on the Cookie Walk portion, and but you can still go check out the live nativity and the horse trolley rides. And the last couple of years, they've had a motorized trolley as well.
Yes.
So
Super
all
cool.
that's down at Mayhew Brown Funeral Home. That's Jason Brown and his family that put that on.
Yeah.
The goodness of their heart.
Yes, they do.
And they've been doing it. I think this is the 12th year.
Can you believe it's been that long?
I
My
believe I
goodness.
either covered or had written about the first one that first year, and it's hard to believe that it's been 12
Yep.
years. So
Very awesome.
anyhow, that's it.
Is that all you have, Jeremiah?
That's it.
No, so much cool stuff going on
Yes.
this past weekend, and then continuing on through the Christmas holiday.
Yeah, don't forget about the 12 days of Christmas
Yes.
too. That's the Jackson Downtown Association.
Yes.
They have something planned on different days throughout the first 12 days of
Yes.
December. So you can
got
look for
it.
that. We had a story, I think, in Wednesday's edition on the front page this
Okay.
past week. So
Cool.
you can get on and read about that.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for coming in this morning.
You're welcome.
Doo-doo-doo.
Dylan's smiling. That's how he's going to end it. I know it. So we'll see you guys later in the week, I'm sure.
Yes.
So I think I'll be back in Friday. Am I back in Friday?
I think so.
All right. So I'll be back in Friday.
There will be plenty to talk about by then.
And Red's going to be on and help as well. So
Okay.
it'll be me and Red on Friday.
Okay. Very good.
That's the plan. As long
that's
as
the
Red
plan.
gets out of bed.
Yes.
He's watching, Red.
He's
You got to
not
get
a
out of
morning
bed on
person.
Friday.
We know that. All right. Well, have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be right back here in the morning. Bye-bye.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
thetelegramnews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, thetelegramnews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
thetelegramnews.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegramnews.com.
Check it out.